If our pleasure is more important than our health or our well-being, that's going to show in the way we live our life. Daniel purposed in his heart not to do something, and he stuck with it. Why? Because that's how he felt inside, in his heart. Many of us have made statements before about things we want to do in our life, things we want to be, places we want to go, goals we want to see achieved, and that never ever happens. Why? Because we don't really have it in our heart. It's in our head. It's a good idea. It's a great thought, but it's not in our heart. And if we don't purpose in our heart to do it, we will not do it. It's not going to happen. You might want a boat so bad you can't hardly stand it. I want a boat, man. I want a boat. I want an 18-foot center console with 150 horse Evinrude inboard motor. I want that thing to have all a stereo system and bells and whistles and lights and a trailer and while I'm at it, I might as well throw in a big Dodge truck to pull it with, or whatever big old Ford F-250 or whatever you want. Listen, throw out anything you think you want. But right now it's just a dream. Right now it's just a hope. But suppose you sit down on a piece of paper and you write down the cost of that boat, that trailer, that truck to pull it with. All right? You say, man, what I'm bringing in right now, I'm not going to be able to have it. But if I could bring in about $200 a week more, and I could set every dime of that aside for 6 months, I got a down payment on it. And if I got into the habit of setting that aside over that 6-month period to raise the money for the down payment, that I could use that same money that I've been setting aside to make my payments on it, and I could make, within 6 to 8 months, I could make that a reality. Guess what? It ceases to be a dream or a hope, and it becomes a goal. What might you have to do? You might have to get a night job. You might have to get a paper route or start delivering pizzas for Papa John's, or you might have to start doing some work on the side. You might have to turn a wrench or two on the side. You might have had a long day at work, and you're going to have a long day every day, but you might have to start taking on some side work. You know what I'm saying? If you purpose in your heart that you're going to have the boat, you're probably going to have it. If it's something you need, that's not the point of what I'm trying to say right here. I'm not trying to get you to start thinking about having a whole bunch of stuff you don't need. What I'm trying to get you to start thinking about is that if there's something you really decide in your heart you're going to do, you will make it a reality. Because as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. When you decide something in here, it becomes reality. What about husbands, wives? Listen to this. Maybe you're not the easiest person to live with. Maybe, wives, you're not the most supportive. Maybe you're not the most understanding. Husbands, maybe you're selfish sometimes. Maybe you can be a jerk to be around. Maybe you haven't done what you said you'd do in the way of providing or whatever. What if you really, really want to be something better than you are? What if you really, really want to be a better husband or a better wife? What if you want things to be different? Well, it's a hope or a dream. But what if you purpose in your heart to be more of what you know you should be in that relationship? If you purpose it in your heart, you will set a goal to be that better husband or that better wife. And you will work a plan to make that happen. And it may not happen overnight. It may not happen in 2 or 3 weeks. It may not happen in 2 or 3 years. But one day down the road, you'll get there and you'll be a better husband, or you'll be a better wife, or you'll be a better friend, or you'll be a better employee. You'll be what you want to be because you purposed in your heart to do it. When Daniel could have said, I don't think I'm going to eat the king's meat. I don't think I'm going to do that. It's just not right, man. It's just not right. God wouldn't be happy. I don't think I'm going to do that. His tomato, watermelon, corn, zucchini placed there on his plate. And the dude that was sitting right beside of him had that big old juicy New York strip. They had been marinating for 24 hours in that John Boy and Billy brewing sauce. They had that back in Babylon, that John Boy and Billy stuff. And he smelled, oh my goodness, he smelled that steak. And then, she was having an issue, baby? She was having something else?
We lost.
You got everything else. Okay, all right, so listen. When he smelled that steak, and then he saw his buddy Philip sitting over here beside of him, he took that fork and he just touched that steak, and that steak just started to fall apart. And he opened up that big old baked potato with the sour cream and the butter and the little bacon bits and the cheddar cheese. Whoa! Gracious! Hey, you think he'd eat his zucchini and his watermelon and his corn long? He would not have stuck with his decision to not eat the king's meat if all he'd have said was, I don't think I'm going to do it, it's not right. He had the purpose in his heart, I will not do that. And then it became a goal, and he had a plan, and he worked his plan, and he was successful. All right, now listen, what am I trying to say? For a person to really have a goal become a reality, they have to take purposeful action on a regular basis to see it happen. Purposeful action. Do you guys know what that is? It means you set a course towards the destination and you start walking or driving or running or marching or whatever you got to do in that direction to get to that destination. It don't mean you just wander around aimlessly and hope you get there. You know that? If you don't have a plan and take action towards that plan, you'll fail, even if you've set a goal. Can I tell you a secret about humans? I'll tell you a secret about human beings. We have a built-in failure mechanism that causes most goals that we set not to become reality. Did you know that? We have a self-defeating failure mechanism that's built into our mind, into our psyche, that hinders us from realizing goals. Why? Because we failed so many times before. We failed in relationships, so now we don't feel like we can have a successful relationship. We failed in dieting, so now we don't feel like we can successfully diet and reach a goal that we've set for ourselves. We failed in our finances, so we don't feel like we can successfully be financially stable. We failed in our jobs, so we don't feel like we can actually be a success at work in any kind of job. We have a built-in failure mechanism because we've messed up so many times before. But you know what happens when a person sets a goal, has a plan to achieve that goal, and then takes positive, purposeful action towards that goal? It overrides the failure mechanism. Because as you begin to take steps toward your goal, you realize it's actually achievable. Guess what? If I wanted to go to Wendell, and I just decided, suppose I did not live around here and somebody brought me to 6015 Applewhite Road, Wendell, dropped me off right out here, and said, where do you want to go next? I said, I want to go to downtown Wendell on Main Street. I heard there's a little deli there. Get me a sandwich. That's where I want to go. Okay? And they drop me off and they take off. And I start walking, man. I start walking. I seem like I walk forever and I end up in Middlesex. So it didn't work, did it? Suppose I have them pick me up, drop me back off here, leave again. I start walking, man. This time I run. end up in Selma. Something went wrong. They do it again, I end up in Clayton. Okay, why? Because I didn't take purposeful action towards my goal. I may have taken action, but I didn't take purposeful action. And unless you determine to take the right kind of action, you'll never get where you're trying to go. If he sets me down here and I say, I want to go to downtown Wendell, and he says, here is a map of this area, right here's where you are, right here's downtown Wendell, here's the streets that get you there. I start walking in the right direction, and I get to where I'm going, and the failures that I realized when I went to Middlesex, and when I went to Selma, and when I went to Clayton, those failures are no more, because now I have a map that shows me where I need to go, and every step I take with purpose in that direction makes me realize just how much closer. Oh, I've walked a few minutes in this direction, and I see Lake Wendell Road. Oh, it's on this map right here, Lake Wendell Road. I'm going in the right direction. Hey, I walk a few more minutes, I get to this highway called 231. Wow, I'm here, man. Let me take a left right here. Because I can go a couple different ways. Let me take a left right here. I walk a few more minutes, and boom, I'm right there. I have a stop sign that shows the dead end right here. If I turn right here, I can walk down just a short piece, turn left onto Hollybrook, and I'm going to come out right there in downtown Wendell. Every step I took was purposeful. Every action I took was a purposeful action, and therefore I got closer and closer to my goal, and the failures of the past didn't mean anything to me. If I started off walking a fourth time, the same way I started off walking the first three times, I'd have been disgusted and discouraged, and I may or may not have gotten there. I may or may not have gotten there. You've got to have purposeful action if you're going to get to where you're supposed to be going. Daniel purposed in his heart, I ain't going to eat the king's meat. And here's the plan I've got for not doing that. I've decided it's wrong. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to eat fruits and vegetables instead, and I'm going to be better off, and I'll prove it to you, and we'll move forward, and everything will be fine. Well, you know the story of what happened in Daniel's life. That him and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were healthier than any of the other king's children and princes, any of the other people that were studying under the king of Babylon there. They were healthy. They were smarter. They were sharper. They didn't eat all the lobster tail and the steak and the baked potatoes and stuff. They didn't eat what the king served. They didn't eat the pulled pork dipped in that sweet, sugary barbecue sauce. I'm getting hungry. That's it. We'll finish this next Sunday. I appreciate everybody being here. Let's all stand for I'm just kidding. Listen, they didn't eat the good stuff that everybody else was eating because they purposed in their heart not to defile themselves, and they had a plan, and every step they took towards that plan was a purposeful step. Are you with me? Are you with me? Where do you want to go, guys? Where do you want to go? I mean, just ask yourself that for a minute. Where do you want to go in life? Is there a goal that you want to set to do something that you're not doing now? Or maybe there's a goal you want to set to stop doing something that you are doing now. Maybe there's a goal you want to set to be somebody that you're not right now. How are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? You would just stand there and throw darts at the wall, hope you hit the target when there's not even a target in sight? I can sit here and throw darts at this spot on the wall. I can throw darts at the wall all day long, and then I can take and draw me a target around one of them and say I hit my bullseye. Or I can draw a target and decide where I want to be, and I can try to zero in on where I'm throwing those darts. Are you with me? Is there something you're doing in your life right now that you don't like? Something you don't like about yourself? Something you wish you could stop? Set a goal. And every day take steps, positive steps, towards stopping doing that. Is there something you really feel like you need to be doing that you're not doing? Set a goal. And then every day in your life take positive steps towards realizing that.